You know that show called Power Rangers? It's just some kid show about a couple of teens gearing up to fight aliens that were clearly just people in mascot suits. It was fun for what it was. I watched it while I was a kid, but little me was just not having it. I hated that thing with every fiber of my being. So imagine my surprise when I found an anime based on that show. And then if you could, try to picture the look on my face when I found out that not only did it not completely suck, but that it was unironically really good.
Travis, it's kill or be killed.
They're so freaking tough. Oh. Okay, so even though it's kind of what I've implied, this obviously isn't just Power Rangers the anime, because if it were, it should be bad. Why is it not bad? What are they doing? See, in this world, things work a bit differently. There are these dragon keepers that are beloved by basically everyone. They keep people safe from any monsters that would dare to set foot on Earth from their fortress in the sky. No more questions. The Dragon Keepers maintain the public's trust by broadcasting the battles they have with these monsters weekly. But what these Dragon Keepers aren't telling the public is that all of these fights are fake. Every single one of these Sunday showdowns was scripted. The Dragon Keepers beat the entire monster army already, with the exception of these things called fighters. Fighters are essentially immortal beings that were created by a boss monster to fight in the war, which is now over. They lost. The Dragon Keepers found a way to forge weapons that actually could kill these immortal fighters for good. So after the war ended, the fighters were forced into working with them. Thus how we have these scripted Sunday showdowns. They're for the people, yes, but also for money. It's mostly for the money. See, Dragon Keepers are essentially a brand now. They just need to look good and make money. And honestly, that still doesn't sound all that bad. You know, people pay money. They protect those people from monsters. Where the little tiny microscopic problem comes in is when you realize the leader of those Dragon Keepers, how do I put this? Don't really care about those people, like necessarily talking about. You know, I think it's pretty cool how even though this is based on a show with black and white morals, the premise of this anime is actually this weird like light gray color. See, the Rangers obviously aren't bad guys, they help people, but they also couldn't be considered good guys either, you know? Last I checked, good guys tend not to sacrifice their own teammates as a first plan of action, so in that case, they're just five guys. Okay, please laugh. Something pretty important that I didn't mention yet is that while the Red Dragon Keeper, who is the leader of the other Dragon Keepers, doesn't necessarily care all that much about the lives of those selfish, unpaying customers, not all of the Keepers are like that. Some are good, others kind of couldn't care less, and they all fight on the same team anyway, which is a little bit awkward, I'd imagine. And mind you, with this whole Ranger Force thing being a business now, there's a system in place for anyone who wants to join and potentially become one of those Rangers of Justice they see on TV. They can work to join the force, but even if they make it in, they don't instantly become the Red Keeper. They have a chance at maybe becoming the next Red Keeper, if Red Keeper says so, maybe possibly. You're just not becoming the Red Keeper. And I mention all of this to say, these regular Rangers have legit no clue what's going on with these Dragon Keepers. In this system, you work your way up to the top without knowing anything about what the top actually is. Then once you get close enough to see it, you'll probably be killed by your own commander anyway because you genuinely didn't know what you signed up for. And you know what's crazy? I haven't even said anything about the main character of this anime yet. Oh, alright, cool. So it's gonna be one of those anime where like the bad guy's actually the good guy. But how did you, well, you know, it's actually pretty obvious. Shut up. Huh? I said shut up! Remember that moral thing I was talking about earlier? Yeah, that exists here too. You see, our real main character isn't any of the Rangers, it's the monster known as Fighter D. He's obviously just a weak, low-level fighter that somehow lost the war. You're freaking immortal! He lost and survived. Because remember, he is immortal. So he hates the Rangers more than anyone. He wants them gone for good. So he uses his exceptional ability to imitate regular people to sneak into the Ranger Force and destroy it from within. Cool. Simple objective, makes perfect sense, I'm in. Word, so I was right. It is one of those stories where, oh my lordy lord, shut your mouth, Dimitri, okay? I wouldn't be making a video about this if that's all it was. The thing that really pushed me to make this video is the fact that they have these pitch black and pure white boxes that nobody fits into. With the exception of maybe a few of the boss monsters, everybody else is scattered. Scattered and floating even, between being mostly good and mostly bad. But then that begs the question, wait, hang on, what even is good in this case?
Unless you care about the superhero's personal life,
You're just reading a shallow story.
This is less a story about a good bad guy taking out bad good guys because, oh, he's actually like a good guy bad guy. And more a story about, okay, do you think we should take him out though? Because like Loki, he was kind of just minding his own business before we got here. So then they would stomp him out and give his remains to his dying mother in the hospital because justice. Sometimes justice is the right answer, but other times, no, I'm docking 8 points. Because ironically, a lot of the problems that the Rangers face are only able to be problems because they lied about something beforehand. These lies then balloon into much larger controversies than they were ever meant to be. Then someone hops in, takes advantage of that new distrust people have for the Rangers, and actually does something bad guyish with it. And you know who saves those people? The Ranger Force does. Amazon needs to get their marketing up to scuff. And what's more interesting is where the main character falls into all this. He's a monster posing as someone fighting on the side of the Rangers even through all of these shenanigans. He's literally attacking his own allies to keep cover. So whose side is he actually on? Well, that's a very good question, Tavon. No one. He's on no one's side in particular. He chooses whatever path he feels like that day. He could go from fighting a monster to fighting the person fighting that same monster in the same fight. Why? I mean, shoot, because. And Fighter D isn't the only one doing this. They have other people even within the Ranger Force that also want to destroy it. They have people that want to keep it around but couldn't care less about killing a monster if it wasn't worth their time. And then they have the ones who would most definitely prefer if it stuck around but then turn around and kill their own people. Basically, the Force isn't one entity. It's made up of hundreds of little pieces of wood, and from a distance, it looks sturdy, but up close, every fifth piece wants to get out and do its own thing. But you know, something really cool happens when the desires of certain pieces line up. They can group up and like affect other pieces. Man, how do I make this sound cool? Dynamic characters. You know what they are, they're just characters that can change. It's a simple concept and basically helps establish character by giving them a sort of arc. These character arcs are normally reserved for a main character and a secondary character. That's it. Granny Justine doesn't have an arc because Granny Justine doesn't need one. She's going to exist for like 10 minutes tops. The reason why she's here is to kiss the main character on the forehead and with zero context tell him, I know you. And I know you would never rob the Target on 9th Street at precisely 10:47:23 p.m. on a Thursday night with the help of a Honda Civic. You're right, this isn't me. She's there as an unmoving brick to turn the important characters in the right direction. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm totally fine with that. But wouldn't it be so much cooler if the two characters actually affected each other? Something I found the more I watched this was that it wasn't just one or two characters that dynamically changed in reaction to others. It was more like a handful, which is a handful more than I could say for some anime. Not every character in the series is like this. In fact, it's actually better if certain characters aren't. But so many people fundamentally affect one another here. And just like how people's opinions could change based on the people around them, people's idea of what makes a monster bad in this world could change either with a bit of outside influence or complete personal bias. Basically, someone could change because someone they were close to did. And that's like probably some of the most real stuff ever. And it's in a cheesy Power Rangers anime. Again, why is this not bad? This anime could have been about anything else or based on anything else, but I like that it was based on a show like Power Rangers. The concept was always simple, it was just people versus literal aliens. I mean, the line between who's good and bad is very clear. But the anime takes that simplicity and mixes the pot a little. It takes a slightly more realistic approach to the idea, and asks the question, if this was real, what's the worst way it could reasonably work? And some of these questions don't have clear answers, they could be justified either way. And all of these questions with multiple answers led me to the statement, justice is subjective. And if that's the point here, at this point I'd be really surprised if it wasn't, that would explain why there seem to be so many more dynamic characters than I'm used to seeing. And it would also explain why this world feels so prone to change. It's because justice as a standalone concept doesn't exist. It's a fancy word characters use to do what they want. All of this stuff that I probably read way too much into is packed into an anime series with a goofy soundtrack and an even goofier main character, and honestly, how can I not respect that? Things seem to be well thought out from a base level, so I couldn't care less what extra stuff gets thrown on top. After all, this crushed my expectations. Granted, they were already underground, but you know, even as an anime with zero connections to anything, this holds up much better than you'd probably think. But for now, that's all. Thanks for watching. I'm off.